Let's now bring in Shaina Low. She's the Norwegian Refugee Council's communication advisor and joins us live from Amman. Shaina, hundreds of thousands of people, as we know, are displaced and they don't have proper homes to return to. And we know the winter season is just around the corner, which is extremely worrying. And Palestinians there are calling for material where they can shelter in.
Absolutely. We, the Norwegian Refugee Council, lead the shelter cluster, which is a group of NGOs and UN agencies that work together and coordinate on the shelter response. We are deeply concerned about the needs for shelter materials in advance of the winter. As we know, winters in Gaza can be quite rainy and cold. Last year, we saw a number of babies die from hypothermia and exposure because there was insufficient shelter available. We're facing huge issues in terms of getting in enough aid to support the 1.5 million people in need of emergency shelter assistance. This is in part due to ongoing rejections from the Israeli authorities based on organizations, according to the Israelis, not being authorized to operate or bring in aid into Gaza, including the Norwegian Refugee Council, which I note has a valid registration with the Israeli authorities. These types of impediments are preventing actors from being able to scale up the shelter response and ensure that Palestinians have at least some form of protection over their heads when the winter rains begin later this fall. In terms of the needs, it's not just about getting in the materials, but it's about clearing the rubble, making sure that unexploded ordnance and explosive remnants of war are cleared, so that people can return to their homes or neighborhoods safely and not be worried that buildings will collapse on them or that unexploded ordnance might detonate.
I mean, I would have loved to say that Palestinians there are reeling back from starvation, but that's simply just not the case with the amount of aid being allowed in and the poor quality of aid being allowed in. I mean, what do Palestinians need now to ensure that famine does not return to Gaza?
Well, first and foremost, we need to see a flooding of the markets, both with food, with shelter materials, other materials like hygiene essentials. And we need to see, we've seen that there have been an increase in commercial trucks coming in, but we're dealing with a population that has largely been out of work for the last 2 years and had a 50% unemployment rate even before October 7th, 2023. People simply cannot afford the prices in the markets. So we need to see, in addition to the restoration of Gaza's markets, an influx of humanitarian assistance. We need to see humanitarian agencies that have been blocked from bringing in life-saving assistance unblocked and to have access restored so that we can reach people who are in need during this particularly vulnerable time as winter approaches.
The communication advisor for the Norwegian Refugee Council, Shaina Low, it's always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for being with us.